There's only 3 things that you really need to master in order to have real success with B2B SEO. And I'm going to talk about what they are in this video. So we'll jump straight into number 1, and that is your research, okay? So number 1 is your research. Now, what do I mean by research? Well, there's a couple of different things that are actually involved in that, okay? So first of all, research of competitors, okay? Now, I'm going to give you some free ways that you can do this. So even if you don't have access to different tools that are in the marketplace, such as Ahrefs or SEMrush or whatever it may be, okay, I'm going to also give you some free ways that you can do this. So in regards to research, first of all, research of your competitors, okay? Now, the easiest way to do this is to figure out who's ranking for what positions, pretty much who's ranking on page 1, okay? Now, how do you do that? Well, you search whatever keywords you want to rank for. Now, here's the next part of research. It's your keyword research. Now, as I said, the likes of Ahrefs, yes, there is a paid subscription with that, but they do have a free keyword tool as well. So if you put in, for example, let's say, again, we'll use the example we always give here because it's everybody knows what it is, accounting software. If you put accounting software into the free Ahrefs tool, we'll leave a link for that in the description below as well, then you can actually get any words that have that term accounting software in it as well, okay? If you're using the paid version, which in my opinion is way more helpful, it can show you other matching or relevant terms as well, okay? So it could be, for example, payroll software, because that could be another thing that you offer within your accounting software that, again, it wouldn't essentially be covered under accounting software, okay? Now, let's say that accounting software is the overall term you want to rank for. You just search that in the likes of Google or Bing or whatever it may be and see who's ranking number 1, okay? So here's something that's really important to understand, and a lot of people don't know this in regards to not only B2B SEO, but SEO in general, okay? If you have a particular term that you think you want to rank for, okay, and if you search it on the likes of Google and your competitors do not show up on page 1, it's not the keyword for you, okay? Now, there's very, very small instances where that might be the case if you just essentially have no competition or your competition are really, really bad in regards to SEO. But in most cases, the likes of Google is smart enough to understand that your competitors are, you know, they do essentially what you do as well, and they should show up on page 1 of Google as well, okay? Especially, again, depending on the competition and what kind of niche you're in, or niche, depending on what you say, where you are in the world for that. But when you're looking at this, again, if your competitors aren't there, it's probably not the keyword you want to rank for. So what you can do, and again, this is very helpful if you have a paid version of Ahrefs, you can take your competitors' websites, you can put it into Ahrefs, and it'll tell you every single keyword that they rank for, okay? You can then go through that and say, well, that's a good one, that's a good one. You can actually save it to different lists in Ahrefs. They make it very handy with a paid subscription. Again, I'm absolutely not affiliated with Ahrefs. I'm just genuinely, it is very, very helpful in regards to SEO. So after that, then the main thing you want to look at is your search intent behind the keyword, okay? That may be the number 1 reason that you're not actually showing up, okay? So for example, if the keyword you want to rank for, or you think you want to rank for, is best accounting software, and you go, oh yeah, we want to rank for that. We want to make sure the marketplace knows that we're the best. We should 100% rank for best accounting software. If you, now I haven't done a search, so just, you can double check this yourself if you want. But in most cases, when you put the word best into any search term, typically what it's going to give you back is what's known as listicles, okay? So you'll have a lot of different websites that are ranking on page 1 saying, here's the top 12 accounting softwares for this particular year. Here's the top 7 accounting softwares that we found when we tested them all. Here's the top 16. They're typically just lists, okay? If your competitors aren't really there and it's more so kind of listicles, that's not where you want to show up, okay? Because again, Google is literally giving you the answer of either you can or can't rank for this when you search it, okay? And to search on Google is free. So if you search best accounting software and it shows the top 10, the top 12, the top 17, whatever it might be, and your competitors aren't there, there might be 1 or 2 competitors maybe, but if the vast majority of these, which is 5 or more, are on page 1 and they're not your competitors, then this isn't really where you're going to rank. No matter how much optimization that you do on your website, Google is telling you they're not the kind of pages that we want and we know people will click on when they search best accounting software. Now, if you search, for example, just accounting software as a more so kind of generic term, let's say, which is still very broad, by the way, then again, just looking at the search results, Google will tell you straight away, well, actually, here we have Xero, here we have FreshBooks, here we have QuickBooks, here we have Sage, here we have whatever it is, okay? All the competitors are there. That's a strong indication that you should actually be ranking there, okay? So once you've done all that research and you have the keywords that you want to rank for, you've checked on Google, are your competitors ranking for them, you've seen the search intent behind the keywords, then the next stage that you need to do is your optimization, okay? Now, in regards to optimization, I'm specifically talking about the likes of your technical and your on page, okay? I'll talk about off page a little later. So in regards to technical, first of all, as I've said before, I've been doing SEO specifically for the last 20 years. We've helped loads of, I absolutely have lost count, but it's got to be hundreds and hundreds of different companies at this stage, okay? Probably over 1,000 at this stage. I have never, ever come across a website that didn't have broken links, okay? It's very, very easy to find the likes of broken links. It's very easy to, well, when I say very easy to find broken links, we use a tool called Screaming Frog. Again, no affiliation, but it's just absolutely fantastic at what it does. But you can put your website into Screaming Frog. I think there's a free version of Screaming Frog for up to 500 URLs. So if your website is less than 500 URLs, then essentially you will be able to check this for free. Also, Ahrefs, they do have, I think it's called Ahrefs Webmaster Tools. I think you can sign up to that for free as well, and that will automatically scan and crawl your website to see where there's any broken links. Trust me, these show up a lot more than you think that they do, okay? Now, put yourself in the shoes of Google. They are going through your website to see, oh, these people talk about accounting software, okay, but they've got broken links. Google's main job is to give their users, i.e. the searchers, the best results possible, okay? Now, Google will only show your website if they believe it's one of the best results. But if your website has broken links and Google knows that that user won't have a good experience on your website, then they're not going to recommend you on page one of the search results, okay? It just doesn't work that way. Now again, broken links is just a very, very small example of things that you can clean up in regards to technical SEO. I give the example of broken links because everybody knows what a broken link is. There's obviously a lot more that can go into technical SEO optimization as well, okay? Look, I'm not going to go into the likes of page speed or all these different things, okay? And by the way, just in regards to page speed, one of the biggest tips that I can give you in regards to optimizing for SEO is to not go crazy with the likes of trying to get your page speed as fast as possible, or to get, if you're using any SEO tools, again, like Ahrefs, or if you use the likes of WordPress, you might use something like Rank Math or Yoast SEO or whatever it might be. There's loads of different tools that are out there, some of them free, some of them paid. And they have these kind of scoreboards, okay? What's your rank out of 100 of what Google wants to see? Do not drive yourself crazy trying to get those scores to 100. They will do more harm than good if you don't know what you're doing. I can guarantee that to you, okay? We see this all the time. It's one of the absolute biggest mistakes that people can make, okay? So the reason I brought that up is because in regards to page speed, this is something we've heard so many times from people that, oh yeah, we're doing, we've looked into SEO and we realized that the number one thing we need to do is increase our page speed, or lower our page speed, should we say, so that it loads faster, okay? That's because they've used something like Page Speed Insights to get a review of how fast their page loads, and all of a sudden Page Speed Insights says, oh well, actually you scored a 1.2 on this, and this is a 3.4 here, and this is a 0.5. So you need to fix all that, okay? And the reason I wrote red is because it shows up in red, which psychologically triggers to humans, this is a warning, this is not good, this is unsafe, we need to fix that, okay? Now, trust me when I say that is absolutely not true in any way, shape or form, okay? Most people are trying to optimize a website for speed that is already stupidly fast, okay? If you go onto your website and you click a link and it loads straight away and you're not sitting there twiddling your thumbs, your website's fast enough. Trust me, you're just focusing on the wrong things. If you go from, let's say, a 1.2, as again, I'm just using a mad example here of the overall load time, okay, is it takes 1.2 seconds, and you put that down to 0.9, and again, I don't know what the actual figures are, but let's assume that Google say, well, anything under a second is good. Again, that's why I have it in green here. Psychologically, that's good. We can proceed with that. Happy days, okay? Trust me, that's not going to move the needle. Going from a 1.2 second load time to a 0.9 second load time is not going to push you up in the Google rankings, okay? It just doesn't work that way. I don't know where everybody's getting this assumption from, but it's just, that's not how it works, okay? That's absolutely 100% not how it works. I've been doing this for 20 years. I can guarantee that to you, okay? There's way more important things that you can be focusing on. So do not let the likes of these tools, when they show up that you're not 100% out of 100% and you could be doing better, they actually don't know, in most cases, what they're talking about because they don't have the human context, okay? I'll give you another example here as well, okay? So let's say that the title of your website, which is essentially what shows up in the blue link in Google, okay? If somebody wants to click on it, look, Google can change those as well. That's the story for another day. But let's say that your title is 61 characters long, okay? Well, all of a sudden, a lot of the tools will say, oh, that's an error, that's bad, Google won't like that. So what you have to do is you have to get it down to 60 characters, okay? You are absolutely just wasting your time if you're trying to optimize to go from 61 characters here to 60. Changing that from 61 characters to 60 for your title will not move you up in the rankings, okay? It just means that the tiny little part at the end of your title will be truncated, meaning it will be essentially either cut off or it says ... at the end, okay? That should not make a difference in any way, shape or form to whether somebody clicks on your website or not, okay? It makes no difference whatsoever, but yet all of a sudden you have a score of 70% instead of 80% because your title of your page is not good enough, okay? And we all want to go from 70 to 80% by fixing this one little thing, so why wouldn't we? It doesn't work that way, okay? So stop focusing on the wrong things, okay? And by the way, if you want to know what the right things are to focus on, you can check out the first link in the description. We have helped so many companies with this sort of stuff, and the results that they've gotten is just absolutely incredible. Not in my opinion, but objectively. Again, you can see some of the results that we've gotten from that page as well if you click on it. But again, moving on from that then, I went on a bit of a rant there because I've heard this so many times over the years. So there's a lot that you can fix in regards to technical SEO. Don't be fixing the wrong things, focus on the right things. Like, as I said, if you want to check out what they are, you can see the first link in the description. That's technical. There's essentially 3 pillars that, well, we call 3 pillars of SEO, depending on who you're talking to or where you see online. There could be 4, there could be 5, but we refer to them as 3. We refer to these pillars as technical, on-page and off-page, okay? Especially in the B2B world, there should only be 3. In the likes of local businesses, technically there can be 4, but in B2B, there's 3, okay? So that's the technical side of things in a nutshell. Essentially, just fix your broken links. Nobody likes broken links. Google doesn't like broken links. In regards to then on-page optimization, 3 guesses for what that means. It's everything that's on the page that actually can be read by Google, okay? Now, again, one of the things, I suppose, a bit of a tangent here that I want to cover is there's so many people that have come to us lately and said, oh, we want to show up for more AI searches. We want to show up for GEO, all this sort of stuff, okay? If you want to do that correctly, the vast majority of it, and I would say close to 90% of it, is actually probably even a little more, is still just regular old traditional SEO, okay? So in regards to on-page optimization, I don't think there's a free version of this, but the tool that we specifically use for this is Surfer. Maybe they're called Surfer SEO, I'm not 100% sure. But again, this essentially, what it does in a nutshell is once you have your keyword that you know you want to rank for, and again, you've done all your research, and yes, competitors also rank for that, so it's a good keyword, you can plug that keyword in to Surfer, and also tell it what your URL is, okay? Because another thing you have to understand is that Google and Bing, whoever it might be, they rank URLs individually. They do not rank websites overall as a whole. They rank URLs individually, okay? So it's really, really important to understand that for every page on your website, it needs to be optimized correctly, okay? So in regards to the on-page optimization, what Surfer does is you plug your keyword into Surfer, you tell it what your URL is of that particular page, that particular landing page on your website, that dedicated page. And essentially what it does is it compares your page to the other competitors that are on page 1 and essentially tells you what they have that you don't have and where you can fix it, okay? Now, again, this essentially is a form of AI, I suppose you could call it, but it just tells you straight away, here's what they have, here's what you don't have, here's where you need to fill the gaps. And trust me, just by following those very, very simple instructions, this can absolutely push you up, not only onto page 1, but like it literally can push you up onto number 1, okay? So, and that's obviously where you want to be. Obviously, if you're number 1, there's more authority, there's more, I suppose, respect from other like the GEO, AI overviews, all that sort of stuff as well, okay? So there's your technical and your on-page optimization on page. There's loads of other things that can go into it, such as your titles, your headings, all that sort of stuff, which AI wants to see so it can understand your page as well, okay? There's so much that I can go into here. look, if there's one thing in particular that you do want a bit further advice on, you can actually leave a comment below and I'll make sure I can make a video about that. But the last thing then is number 3, and that is your off page, okay? So essentially these are your backlinks, okay? Now, there's, like, I could talk about backlinks until the cows come home, okay? There's so many things that I could say, and more so advice to give to avoid in regards to backlinks, okay? To be honest, where do I even start with backlinks? So essentially, for those of you that don't know, a backlink is when another website links to your website, okay? Now, what you need to understand more than anything is that it's not a case of whoever has the most of these wins, it's a case of whoever has the highest quality backlinks are going to them, okay? So for example, there could be 10 people listed on, let's actually break it down to a more simple explanation, okay? So let's say that the person who's ranking in position number 1, and we also have position number 2, and we have position number 3, okay? So let's just keep this simple with the people who are ranking the top 3, okay? So the person that's in number 1, they could have 1 backlink, okay? The person that's in number 2, they could have 0, and the person that's in number 3, they could have 4, okay? So it's not a case of whoever has the most of these wins and gets put up to the top. Again, you can see number 2, they actually have none, and we have seen this so many times where you can actually, again, depending on how well you're doing all of this stuff here, you don't even need backlinks, okay? Now it's very dependent on how competitive your space is. That's a story for another day. But again, you can actually get to the very top with either 0 or 1 very, very strong backlink, again, depending on what you're doing. Now, luckily in the world of B2B, because there's so many industries, so many niches, so many different things that can be offered in B2B, the competition tends to be very low. For example, we were on a call with somebody the other day, we were looking at how we can help them in regards to their SEO, or how they could help themselves in regards to SEO by using the different teachings that we have. And the opportunity for them to actually show up at the very top, because they had done a lot of work on their website. So they just launched their new website 2 months ago. And to our surprise, because we never see this, well, very, very rarely do we see this, they already had all the dedicated pages. So they had all different services pages that they offer, all the different industries that they help. There was loads of different things that they already had. And we could see that Google was starting to reward them for that, but they just needed to be bumped up a bit more, okay? Their competition was basically, look, don't get me wrong, there was definitely people in the space, and this is a very, very well-known name, so I was very surprised to see the competition was so low. But by competition, I mean in regards to SEO, okay, how you could rank above somebody. But the competition was so low that I could guarantee to them that if they just did this section here, they didn't even need to worry about getting any backlinks, okay? Because again, this is so powerful in regards to how you send these strong signals to the likes of Google, that if these are strong enough here and there's not enough, or there's hardly any competition, then you can actually get to number 1 with none of these, okay? So if you do need these, it is quality over quantity, okay? If you take nothing else away from this video, that's the number 1 thing to understand about backlinks. It is quality over quantity, okay? Now, there's also realistically 7 major things that need to go into a backlink. I'm not going to go over what that is here. Maybe that's just a video for another day. But again, if you do need to get these, what's really, I suppose you could say, helpful at the moment, especially to rank in AI overviews and GEO and all that sort of stuff, is getting mentions on the likes of either listicles, like I said earlier, this could be the top 12 accounting softwares, whatever it might be, okay? But if you get mentioned there, and also you have a link to your brand name. So for example, if you are XYZ company, if someone has on another website linked with the words of XYZ company, that's called your anchor text, and it goes back to your website, then that's a very, very strong signal, not only for the likes of Google, but for the likes of ChatGPT, for all these kind of AIs, all that sort of stuff as well, okay? Now, I'll finish on this as a very, very important point, because a lot of people don't understand this. If you want to rank for, let's say, accounting software for construction, okay, which you should have a page about if that's what you offer, or that's an industry you can help, because that's going to be very targeted to that person. And again, there's going to be less people searching it, but the intent is much higher, okay? Kind of a bit of a side note here. So many people just want to go after whatever the biggest search volume is, meaning that how many people search for this per month. We want to go after that. That's not realistically how you win this game. You go after what's got more intent in it. So if someone searches accounting software, it's a very broad term. If someone searches accounting software for construction, they're looking for something very specific. So if accounting software has 1,000 searches per month, and again, this is absolutely hypothetical numbers, and accounting software for construction only has 100, okay, so only 1/10 of it, or 10%, this is way more important to go for the lower search volume one because there's way more intent behind it, okay? If you have a page on your website all about accounting software for construction, first of all, Google's going to like that. And actually what you can do now is just pause this video for a second and do a Google search for accounting software for construction. I can guarantee to you that all of the pages that rank on number one, they're not going to anybody's homepage. It'll be, for example, Xero will have a page about accounting software for construction. QuickBooks will have a page for accounting software for construction. It doesn't go to people's homepages. Google wants to see dedicated pages on your website. That's a super strong signal to them that you know what you're talking about. You are the go-to people and they should push you up in the rankings, okay? That brings me on to what I'm about to say here with backlinks, okay? Most people assume to get the backlink going to your homepage, okay? Based on what I just said there, and I absolutely do not understand how the vast majority of people do not know this. There's a lot of SEOs that don't understand this either, okay? Whether they're in-house agency, whatever it might be, okay? The homepage is absolutely Google's last resort for where they want to send somebody if they want to send traffic to you, okay? As I said there, check it out yourself. Do a Google search for accounting software for construction, okay? All of the pages that rank will be specifically going to that person's page about accounting software for construction. It will not go to their homepage, okay? And again, you can see that for free by using Google, okay? This is part of your research up here. So if you're getting a backlink or you need to get a backlink for because there's a bit more competition in that particular space, the backlink that you're earning doesn't go to your homepage. It doesn't go to your about page. It doesn't go to your contact page. It goes to your specific dedicated landing page, which in this example is your page all about accounting software for construction. Okay, so for you, it might look like that you're on your website. It's xyzcompany.com/industries/construction. Okay, so that's the URL that the backlink needs to go to, okay? So again, the anchor text that was up here, which in this case was a brand mention, was xyzcompany.com. That goes back to, or XYZ company, maybe don't put in the .com, but if it's XYZ company, it goes back to that particular page, which is all about construction. Now, don't get me wrong, you should absolutely do other backlinks that go to this as well. There's loads of different types of backlinks you can get. I think there's 7. Again, I can make a video about that in the future. But instead of doing a brand mention, you can do an exact match mention, which could be accounting software for construction, if that's the keyword you're trying to rank for, okay? Now, again, don't go crazy with that. You want to make sure that these are what look like natural signals to Google. You don't want to do that again and again and again. Again, there's loads that goes into this. I'm trying to give a very high level overview here as well, okay? So look, as I said, there's loads that goes into this. If you want to do it correctly, you have to start off with your research, then do your optimization in regards to technical. The technical is the foundation of your website, okay? That's where Google's going to check everything out first. Then move on to your on page, which is your keywords, all these keywords that you have on the page, your headings, all that sort of stuff, okay? Then if you need to, you can move on to the backlink side of things as well, okay? There's a lot that goes into all of these. If you want, I can make videos about these at some point in the future as well. In fact, maybe I will, because there's so much content that I could actually make about all this sort of stuff here as well. But look, if you do want the kind of the fast track way to see how we do all this and how the results that we've gotten for people with this sort of stuff before, as I said, you can check out the first link in the description as well. So hopefully you got some value from that, and we'll see you in the next one.